Hello, boys and girls. My name is Mike Kelly, Real Illusion Forum, basically nowadays. My last tutorial I did yesterday, I talked about bringing a set in to iClone using Character Creator's Transformer. And someone pointed out correctly that sometimes when you do that, actually, he said, I did that and it all came in as one big slab. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't even usually happen, but it can happen. And sometimes that's just the way it is. There's not much you can do about it. Sometimes it's just the way the Daz folks have rigged it up inside of Daz. And that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you one approach. There's a lot of different approaches to dealing with it. I'm going to show you one of the things today that you can do that helps if that is the case. So here we have a Jeep. This is a Jeep inside of Daz. And the Jeep itself is pretty cool because it has doors that open and wheels that turn. Okay, both all very good stuff. That's really all it has is doors that open and wheels that turn. But those are good things. The problem is the Daz developer has rigged this thing up as a figure. Okay, so if we try to export this, and it doesn't matter whether we bring it in through 3DX or if we just drag and drop it into iClone, it's going to just come in as one big slab. It just, the doors and the wheels and everything just all come in as a Jeep, okay? Well, that is a lot less useful than what we would like. We would like to be able to open the doors and move the wheels. So how do we do that? Well, we can still do that, and we can still use the approach of bringing it in through Transformer. We just have to kind of massage it first. And we have to do that through the use of a third-party program. I'm going to use Blender. I'm not a huge fan of Blender. It's funny that I can say that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start this all over again. Don't save. Because every time I use Blender, I just get so confused by the interface and everything. But in any case, Blender is freeware, obviously. A lot of people absolutely adore it. I got raised using 3D Studio Max, so the interface in this just drives me nuts. But it is a useful tool. Free, you can install it. And I would suspect that everybody that uses iClone and Character Creator really ought to have Blender installed somewhere, just as that kind of Swiss Army knife of things that you can use. So anyway, so what we have here is we have Blender, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to import. I've already gone ahead and exported. Notice I put a Genesis figure in. We talked about doing this in the last tutorial, just dragging and dropping a raw Genesis figure in so we can use Transformer inside a Character Creator. So we have a Genesis figure. We have this Jeep called the Dustmaster, and I've exported this as FBX using our regular settings of FBX. So now we're going to go over to Blender, and we're going to go ahead and import it. Import FBX. And go to the exports, and that's Blender. That's what we're going to call it. So when this comes in, we're going to have, as it takes a while to load in. There we go. Okay, so we got the characters, the Jeep, and we have Genesis. We're not going to mess with Genesis. We have to leave Genesis alone because Genesis is going to be what's going to enable us to be able to import this through Transformer. So we don't want to mess with that in any way, but we can mess with the Jeep itself in any way we want. And so what we want to do with Dustmaster is we want to take those. What am I trying to say? Take the pieces of the Jeep and separate them. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to do one to show you. But for example, if we have the right door, okay, the right door here, and I'm sorry, first we have to go into edit mode. As I tell you this, I'm not a huge fan of what am I trying to do here? I can never remember how to select things and not select things. Okay, here we go. So we're in edit mode in Blender. This is terrible for me to be a Blender tutorial because I'm terrible at Blender. But so we have the object selected. We go to edit mode. This is what we're going to do. And then we go down here to this vertex groups. So we're going to, and they have things separated out already. So if we go ahead and we select that vertex group, then you'll see that door is selected. Okay? That door is selected. We selected the door right. We hit select. That selected it. Now we want to make an object out of that. We want to make another door. So if we press the P key, and I have no idea what that means, separate, but I don't know why a P, and we want to do by selection, okay? So now we've made a door from that selection that we created. Now the other thing we want to do is just make sure that's reselected. We want to delete those vertices because we don't want to have that door that already sits there. So how do we do that? We press the X key. Again, Blender is just crazy. And we're going to select the vertices and delete that. So now what we've done, just so you understand, is we've created a door from the vertices that we selected here, and then we deleted those vertices. So now we have a separate door. Okay, and we would do that with the other door. As a matter of fact, I think I've already done that with the other door. And then we would do the wheels and stuff. But I'm not going to do all of that today. I just want to show you how so that would work. So then we go ahead and export it. Let's go add export FBX. Leave the leave the settings alone here, and I'm going to call it Daz Blender again and export it that way. And so now it's exported. Okay, so now if we go into Character Creator, and again Transformer. And we're going to go to CC3 because remember that's a Genesis figure. It just has that Genesis figure in it. And then we're going to load that FBX file back in. As long as it sees that Genesis figure, it's okay with what we've done with the FBX. Again, if you're going to go into Blender, whatever you do, don't mess with the Genesis figure itself. So now we have three things. What do we have? Well, we have the Jeep itself, which is this, and then those two doors. The first door that I've already done, and then the door you just saw me do. So that's fine. We're going to bring those in, show you how that works. And again, remember, the reason we're doing this through Transformer is it's going to bring all the textures over for us. There's a lot of textures on this Jeep, so it's really nice that it takes care of all the assignments. We could do it manually. We could do that. But in either case, even if we do it manually, we're still going to have to separate it out in Blender, just like you saw, in order that we have separate doors. Because even in 3DX, those doors all come in as one big lump. So now we got the whole thing. So as you remember, we go up here. Hopefully you remember if you saw my other tutorial. Send that character to iClone, which is the character that's attached to the Jeep. So the Genesis figure and the Jeep is actually joined at the hip to him. And then once again, we go into the Genesis figure here, take all those shapes that we don't want to attach, go into modify, and they're attached to the hip, and we're going to detach them, okay? Back to the scene, get rid of that figure, we don't need it anymore. So now we have a Jeep, and we have the actual, we're going to start writing like this. So now we got doors. This is that door that would be on the left. That's your left. So we'll make it a left door. And then the other door is the right door. And now what we want to do with those doors is we want to attach them to the Jeep itself. So when we move the Jeep, the doors move with it, and then we can also use them for various things. So that's really simple. You guys probably already know how to do this, but you go in and you attach, pick parent. The parent is the Jeep itself. We're also going to edit the pivot because we want the pivot point to be at that door, about that door frame. I'm not going to try to get this exact just so you can see. And then once you've done that, actually I should do it on the other door because if I move the Jeep, it'll go flying away. And we'll pick the parent, do that, attach that, edit pivot. And the same thing with the wheels. You'll move them and you'll make the pivot in the center so that they rotate. With the wheels, I think for this particular item, there's also an axle that you'll want to attach the wheels to the axle and then attach the axle to the Jeep. But basically, it's the same principle. So when we've done all that, if you go into the scene, you'll notice we have the Jeep itself, and then everything else is rolled up into that. And that way, when we go into here, we can open the door, and then we can also select the Jeep and move the Jeep. And everything moves with it. So that's basically how you deal with this particular aspect if you come across in Daz a figure, a prop that is actually rigged as a figure. You might also say, well, Mike, what if I take this? Because you can go up here to the tools, edit this, and go to that figure, and then create it, go geometry, I think it's rigging here, rigging, and convert the figure to a prop. If you do this, you'll never be able to separate the doors and the windows out again, because then it just makes it one big slug at that point. So you can't do that. And again, once again, let me remind you, if you guys come across any set or prop or hair or clothing item, anything inside of Daz that you need help with to get into iClone or in Character Creator, just let me know, and I'll see you on the forums.